Victor Omelczenko, and I'm a longtime West Hollywood resident, and now I'm a pretty happy but very concerned rent-stabilized tenant, and especially I'm concerned about the actual net loss of rent-stabilized housing units that's occurred under the time when Councilmember John Heilman and Councilmember John Duran have been in office.
I'm going to object to the continuance of this.
I have the right. This is not Nazi Germany. Commissioner Sains.
But
look at Commissioner Sains becoming Nazi Germany, people.
I'm just saying.
We're not going to have this.
Talk about the appeal that I lost. I would like this to be retimed.
Okay.
Commissioner Sains.
Please be. I'm going to have to ask you to be respectful to the commission.
No.
Victor,
you were not here earlier for a political advertisement.
you're going to be respectful.
Rent-stabilized tenants, listen to me. You're watching. You are in danger of losing your rent-stabilized units under Councilmember Heilman and Duran.
Victor.
No reason to threaten the audience.
Okay.
Let me. No.
Please cut the mic.
No. Let me speak to you.
Commissioners,
I'm not.
please.
I made an objection only because you weren't here earlier. But basically, let me speak. I know. I'm not.
Where is everybody? Why aren't any rent-stabilized people here? I am a rent-stabilized tenant.
Victor.
All right,
Victor,
Hey, everybody.
I'm not trying to prevent you from speaking. No.
You started to object when
May I speak?
2 minutes. I want this televised, and I want every rent-stabilized tenant to know
Chair
that
Maggio.
Gail Sains is
Your 2 minutes is up, sir.
She is commissioner. She is council member.
Victor.
Duran's appointee. How dare you?
Victor, I'm not. Listen, I have made an objection, but I'm not trying to stop you from talking about an appeal. I thought that you. I know. No. Wait a second. I'm going to allow. You're going to be allowed to speak, but what I wanted you to know was that I didn't want some kind of a free advertisement like a young woman did earlier. If you want to talk about an appeal, that's fine. So, Victor, go ahead.
Hang on, commissioners, we may clarify that the appeal should be a rent stabilization appeal and not an appeal of a planning commission or other commission's item.
yes,
It should be
the
speakers for earlier. The commission had clarified that the public comments are a opportunity for members of the public to speak on items that are within the jurisdiction of rent stabilization. And so the commission, I believe, is requesting that the speakers remain on topics that are within the purview of this commission.
Can we ask, just, Victor, hold on one second. I just want to ask one question to you. And first, a clarification. Our agenda does say 3 minutes, just to clarify that
3
question.
minutes, I
Yeah, so
agree.
we should probably stay by that, just since it's posted like that.
I agree with that.
But are your comments to follow in these 3-minute period? Is it going to be? Is it going to address the Rent Stabilization Commission on agenda items or items of general interest within the jurisdiction of the Rent Stabilization Commission? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I want to know, and then.
Who are a majority in this city. 80% of us are rent-stabilized tenants. May I have my 3 minutes to inform the commission on how rent-stabilized tenants are losing their rent-stabilized housing?
Yes, of course. And Victor, there was no reason to speak to me the way you did. I wasn't speaking to you that way, and I never have.
You cut me off, Gail.
I know I made an
Don't
objection.
want it to be
You think
political.
it's easy?
All right,
You
we're going
think
to start. Victor, we're going to start now.
Come on, Victor, you got 3 minutes. Come and do it.
Okay, I wanted to share with you commissioners what happened to me last year. I appealed the destruction of 3 rent-stabilized apartment buildings with 21 units that housed about 40 rent-stabilized, rent-controlled tenants on Norton Avenue near Crescent Heights. I presented that appeal to the city, but I only got one supporter, Mayor Meister. So I guess maybe the political season has riled me up, but I was very disappointed to not be supported in my appeal on the loss of this rent-stabilized housing by council members Duran and Heilman, who've worked so hard to support and to promote rent stabilization. And since then, there's a huge hole in the ground. People have scattered to the winds, and we've lost 21 rent-stabilized units. Yes, we're getting 29 luxury units in a huge, much taller project, 5 stories. Before, those 3 apartment buildings were just 1 story and 2 stories. And yes, the developer is giving us 5 affordable units. But that seems like such a pittance in this time in a city where so many people are rent-stabilized tenants, and they're living in fear of losing their homes. Now, the other thing I wanted to share with you is that there's a private elite school called the Center for Early Education at the corner of La Cienega by Alfred Street. They bought the land next to them, a 9-unit rent-stabilized apartment building, evicted everybody under the Ellis Act, and you know I've come here and talked to you about trying to get changes in the Ellis Act, and the city council, except for Lauren Meister, they voted to support it. And why? Because the school bought the apartment building, kicked everybody out, and the reason, they needed more playground space for the children. The children already had playground space, and they weren't planning to increase the number of students there. And here they go about, and when I asked the city council, why don't you ask this private school to put some money into the affordable housing pot, the in lieu of fee, they said, oh, we can't do that. And John Duran said, oh, we don't want to get into education versus housing. And John Heilman said that he would look to see if some kind of rules can be changed, and they've done nothing about it. Private institutions can buy up residential properties, kick people out, and the city doesn't even ask them for any money to be put into the affordable in lieu of funding, trust fund. So that's why, and I know this is political, that's why I'm not supporting John Heilman and John Duran, and that's why I want change. And I would like to see former council member and lawyer Steve Martin come in, as well as Cynthia Blatt.
I think you're now
Cynthia
venturing into
Blatt
political
is a housing
advertising.
expert that
Your
I
time is
believe
up,
could
Victor.
become a
Victor,
very
that's
good
your
Time is
city
up.
council
That's your 3
member.
minutes now. and
What?
Your time is up. Your time is up. The bell is ringing.
All right. Do you were given your 3
timer
minutes,
is up.
Victor.
Your timer is up, Victor. And you're engaging in political advertising as well. Come on. While you were on topic, it was fine. Nothing was, but then the bell rang and you were going into political advertising following that. I'm not talking.
Please. Yes, stop. Victor, please, you've had your 3 minutes. Please, I'm going to have to ask you have a seat. Victor, you have to have a seat. Victor.
Very partisan to me, Attorney Say.
Can we turn the microphone off, please? Thank you.